Diddy is a sick, sick man, and one of his most high-profile victims, Usher, has just finally come out and revealed what was done to him. This is beyond evil. If that Justin Bieber got by Diddy, it's not our fault that Usher didn't want to get FU by anymore. It is not our fault that Usher didn't want to, don't hit me no more. Kicking the door, waving the 4-4. All you heard was POA, don't hit me. No more. Let's go kick in the door, waving the 4. Hey. Yeah, certain feeling, and I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people, platforms, but he got on Shay, and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything, you know what I'm saying about the business? Right. I know, and people know that was around there in that time, that Puff and Usher did have a situation, and that situation led Usher to the hospital. That's right, Diddy did something so horrible to Usher that he ended up in the hospital. You don't mind me asking, because I know the topic is sensitive. What happened to Usher? I heard about some music executive from the industry back in Harlem, I heard it from some music executives back in Harlem, and I'm not going to speak on their name. They're doing programs and everything like that, and they may be doing they may speak on it, but I heard it from some music executives. What did you hear, bro? You know how people be talking and we around some people, something like that. And then some people might say, don't F with that dude. And at the time, I didn't even know who the F Usher was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situation. And body say, yo, man, I don't F with them. And I'm getting out that industry and everything like that. Puff sent this little kid to the hospital, like how you send her to the hospital, man. And out was bleeding from the butt. And that's what was said. I didn't even have a name for the kid at the time. Then you hear, and that's what happened. And this story goes a long way back when Usher was just 14 and brimming with talent. He had just signed with LA Reid's LaFace Records, the label, responsible for launching several major music careers. Reid, a key mentor in Usher's journey, made a bold decision. He sent the young artist to New York City to live with Diddy, the self-proclaimed wildest party guy and a towering figure in hip-hop. We want to thank you. Come here. Don't sit on the bed or nothing. No homo. No, just don't get close to the bed. But it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. Man, it's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did. No. I definitely didn't have to do it. Definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting the bed, shouts out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can just, let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not. I don't want my shot to even, I don't want it to come close to the bed. Usher look like he fresh off a goddamn plane. Just steps off the garden stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and damn, pause, but test out. Back in the days when he was 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off for the Frosted Places because he used to always get up earlier with me now. He's one of the richest stars in the world, and I'm what the did. Puff just say, nobody's gonna acknowledge this for me. Puff just said, we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes and we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen, that was stupid list. We having a good time. Your Usher made in, hey, yo, this wasn't just a move to a new city. It was a calculated attempt to push Usher's boundaries and help him develop a more edgy sound. As Reid explained, I wanted Usher to have more of this hip-hop infused sound, filled with bad boy swagger. Reid shared, I was turning him over to the wildest party guy in the country at an age when I still needed to get his mother's permission, but I thought it would be the right thing for him. I didn't know whether I was being irresponsible or having an epiphany. Reid's words reflect the mix of risk and hope He felt believing that this experience would shape Usher both musically and personally. Usher himself has mentioned witnessing some very curious things during his time with Diddy, though he tends to leave the details vague. I moved to New York City and I lived with Sean Puffy CS for a year. That's the crazy thing. Now that was La Reed's idea, right? We're sending you over to some called Puffy Flavor.
Present,
there you go,
and no longer has a voice who will pursue justice for her accusation.
And you're going to go to Puff Daddy.
As of the taken
He's
against
in the
Diddy,
90s. Do you understand
no
what that's
expansion
like?
of the investigation,
Puffy's place
no
was
isolation orders,
just
no
filled with
equipment
chicks
access,
and orgying,
no suspension
like
of attorney
nonstop,
communication.
right? No, not
Ever
really.
spoke.
I mean, but hey,
No one
it was
mentions
curious.
the note,
I got a chance to
but
see
everyone
some
knows
things.
it appeared.
Yeah.
And if what it says
you
is
were
true,
13.
then punishment.
What were you?
Part 3.
See,
The person
I
no
went
longer
there
in
to
the
see
system.
the
The internal
lifestyle, and I
personnel
saw it.
database of the Atlanta
it was-
Federal Detention Center
it was-
updated its weekly roster.
But I don't know if I
under
could
the
indulge
category Special Personnel Code
understand
Adjustment. The
what I
name
was
of
even
Warden
looking
TD
at.
was marked as removed from
it was
system
pretty
by
wild.
administrative
It's
order.
so
There was no
nobody
decision
tried
number
to, some
recorded,
woman
but
didn't
was
come along and say
deactivated.
that.
Her personal
Okay,
contact
what I did
information
say is that
disappeared from the internal
there were very
network.
curious
Exactly
things
personnel
taking
removal
place.
at that tier, the head of Federal
and I
Human
didn't
Resources
necessarily
and
understand it.
Detention Center. No confirmation
Biggie Smalls
exists
was
as
there.
application was made.
Biggie Smalls
The removal
was there.
of Warden
Lil' Kim,
TD's
Craig,
name
Mac,
was not accompanied by any
people. Yeah,
or
man.
protective reassignment.
Faith Evans.
At 11:20
Mary
a.m.,
JBL.
a printed copy of
They
the
didn't know
personnel
nothing
deployment
about this
chart was
time.
generated in preparation
mean?
for the new week's schedule.
Does he have you doing
Under the
any
section
chores? Are you
marked
doing dishes
Internal
at all?
Alert, TD's
I
name
mean, they keep you humble, somewhat. Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party? I mean, I actually stayed up longer than them, and what do you have money going on? I mean, I had like, per dam, I had like, like a live. Yeah, it's pretty crazy years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp? Hell no. But despite the challenges, the experience ultimately paid off. Reed later remarked, Puffy did exactly what I wanted him to do. Usher and helped him cultivate this unique R&B sound. Diddy's influence played a part in shaping Usher's artistic identity, fueling his transformation from a talented teen to a music superstar. But at what cost? Becoming part of a larger trafficking conspiracy. Did he even been trying to get to bed for a minute, and his management was backing him off? But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the Diebler for 48 hours. Think about that. He already been to the hospital. That situation Ingene was talking about, and you still took Bieber, but you got custody of him first. Did he had already tried? They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get it. Bieber, the way he was trying to get it. Bieber was looking a little predatory, and then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent them to the dead. Does that sound like a good guy? This hoary, horrible. Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what did he's really like, they're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there. Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. The official narrative is that L.A. Reid shared that Usher introduced Justin Bieber to him when Bieber was just 14 years old in his 2016 memoir. Reid detailed how Usher brought Bieber as a gift, describing the young artist as beautiful, was flown out to Atlanta by a manager his named SCH, Scooter, FL flown out to Atlanta. Just to meet with him and meet different producers and different people. I was actually going to meet Jermaine Dupri at his studio, and who rolls up Usher and his in his Range Rover rolled up, and I was like, "Is that who I think it is?" And Scooter was like, "Yeah." And so I ran up to him. I was like, "Usher, I love your songs. You want me to sing you one?" And he was like, let's just go inside, little buddy. It's cold out. So the best possible way he could say no, he did. And I was like, just turned me down. And I was a little disappointed. He had to go into a studio session. So I was like, whatever. And a week later, he actually watched my videos with my manager and was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I let him sing? So he me back to Atlanta, where I got to meet him again. And he wanted to sign me. But there was something else. Justin Timberlake, right? Yes, Justin Timberlake also wanted to sign me. It was like kind of like what happened was Justin Timberlake and Usher both went into a ring and boxed it out. And the outcome was Usher. I think it was a TKO. Bieber, who shot global fame at age 15 with his debut single One Time in 2009, had first been discovered by Scooter Braun at age 12. Braun found him on YouTube, where Bieber was covering songs by Usher and Chris Brown. But it was Usher who gave Bieber his big break by introducing him to Reed, who assigned the young star records. Reed wrote about his first encounter with Bieber, recalling Usher's phone call in October 2008. Usher asked Reed if he'd be in the office all afternoon because he had something special to show him at 4 p.m. Usher arrived with an adorable 14-year-old boy. Reed described Bieber as beautiful, like a woman can be beautiful. And men rarely are, and remembered how Bieber turned on the charm as soon as he walked in. Sound weird to you? Yet, well, that's because Usher was already being groomed and knew what he was getting Justin into. But how dare you say a man groomed you? You going to give him a pass, bro? I know, let me refrain you on something. Remember, Usher, we was at the Swiss hotel. Puff had Kim in the room, had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. He came outside in this robe. She gave him a fio. Right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him you knocked on the door. Music. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in her mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up with somebody that you know, and a lot of more people know, didn't do you right. When you was at Diddy C, Bieber immediately sat down at the piano, began singing, and then grabbed a guitar effortlessly, performing as if it were a nightclub act. Usher proudly introduced him, saying, "This is Justin Bieber." Reed was blown away, noting that Bieber was more than just a talented singer. He was a born entertainer. When Usher said he had a gift, he wasn't kidding. Reed recalled Reed decided to sign Bieber. Right away, though, it took a few days to get his parents involved, since Justin was still a minor. Reed also mentioned how Bieber's hair, which nearly covered his eyes, was as important as his songs and his voice. The distinctive look quickly became part of Bieber's identity. In his memoir, Reed continued to praise Bieber's natural charisma and star power. Justin was simply beautiful, his superpower was his face, wrote, but added that Bieber's appearance was only part of his appeal. He had a magnetic personality that instantly set him apart, whereas other artists had to work to develop the persona they wanted to project. He was lovable and lively from the start. Usher played a key role in Bieber's rise, not just as a mentor, but as someone who considered him family. In 2016, Usher reflected on their relationship, saying that while it was professional, he felt a deep connection with Bieber. "Me plus you. I'ma tell you one time. I'ma tell you
present,
one time,
and no
mean
longer
to
has a
stop you."
voice who will pursue
Like
justice
that,
for
but
her
this
accusation.
is only a tease, ladies and gentlemen.
As of the taken against Diddy,
Introducing
no
to
expansion
you
of the investigation,
Island DJ,
no isolation orders,
recording
no
artist
equipment
Justin
access,
Bieber,
no suspension
getting
of
ready
attorney
to go
communication.
down. Just so you
Ever
know,
spoke.
we're in the studio
No one
right
mentions
now
the
working on
note,
it.
but everyone
Get
knows
ready
it
because
appeared.
it's gonna be
And
big.
if what it says is true,
Ain't that right,
then
Justin?
punishment. Part
That's right,
3.
that's right.
The person no longer in the
look out,
system.
we
The
coming.
internal personnel database
Bieber
of the
quickly
Atlanta
became
Federal
involved
Detention
with
Center
P.
updated
Diddy's
its
caught-up
weekly
crew.
roster. Under the
with
category
Diddy
Special Personnel
also
Code Adjustment,
becoming a mentor
the
to
name of
him
Warden
during those
TD
early
was marked
years,
as
but
removed from
unbeknownst to
system
Diddy,
by administrative
it would
order.
be his grooming
There was
of
no
the
decision
two
number recorded.
that would lead
It
to
was
his downfall
deactivated.
because John
Her
Dio
personal
claimed
contact
long
information
ago, Usher
disappeared
was
from
in
the
on a lot
internal
of Diddy's
network
secrets,
exactly 30 personnel removal
that
at that
is a
tier,
problem for
the head
him.
of Federal Human
Years
Resources
ago,
and Detention
Cameron, he
Center.
did an interview,
No
and he
confirmation
told a
exists
story
as
about
patient
how
was
he went
made.
to Diddy House
The
with
removal of
mates,
Warden
and he
TD's
fought
name
the
was not
dildo in the
accompanied by
sink.
any or protective
I think that was
reassignment.
crazy.
At
I
11:20
think
a.m.,
that
a printed
was out
copy of the personnel deployment
and then
chart
May
was
said it was
generated in
Puff's.
preparation for
I
the
think
new
he-
week's
I think
schedule.
he said
Under the section
Nas said
marked
that was
Internal
Puff's,
Alert,
but
TD's
Mace
name
was in the bathroom with it. I don't know what that was all about, man. But that was real weird to me. That was crazy, man. But before we get off of that, right, I remember you told me a while ago that, he used to live with Diddy, and he know a lot of stuff about Diddy that a lot of people don't know, man. It's a lot of stuff that Mace and us should know that they ain't telling about Diddy. It's a lot of stuff that they know. Can you imagine, bro? Can you really imagine what you mean by Usher? Usher stay with Diddy too when he was younger, and this was years ago, so the locks ain't got nothing to do with what I'm saying. The kind of man. Listen here, it's crazy. Yeah, that is crazy. But I want to talk about this lawsuit by Gunn, right? And I want to get your opinion on it. It's our in this lawsuit where she alleges that she was at a dinner with Neo Usher and Jimmy O and Diddy. He punched Cassie in the stomach, and no one did anything. How you feel about that? They were part of the dinner and they watched Cassie get abused in front of Puff, abused Cassie in front of them, and neither one of them men.
When the first
And they
images
probably
from the federal
security
raid on
was
Diddy's
around
$40
to
million
did nothing
Los
to stop
Angeles
what
estate
he
were
had
released, no one
did to
expected
cast.
this. Neatly
Now
stacked
that's
in
just
display cabinets like prized
that's
possessions
just
were
crazy
200
right there, bro.
bottles of
That is
baby
just
oil.
crazy.
Right next to them, over
Usher
900
probably got
bottles
a
of
daughter.
lubricant. Rows
Neo
and rows.
probably got
It
kids.
looked less like a home
I
and
don't
more
know.
like a warehouse
Jimmy,
for something far
he
more
take
disturbing.
about
These
15,
weren't
20
the kind of
scoops
items
of
most
sugar
people
in
keep
his
in
coffee,
bulk,
so
but for
those
investigators,
cats,
it painted a chilling
they're
picture.
supposed to be
Why
men.
would one of the most powerful
Watch
men
that
in
lady
hip-hop
get
need this
abused
much?
right there in
And more
public,
importantly,
and they
what
did
exactly
nothing.
were they used for?
Brother, they did nothing. That goes to show you the power that he had mentally over them here. Go, woman. Witnesses. And this witnessing it, and said they said nothing. Yo, man. Stop, don't do that. Not here, bro. Easy. Nothing. Don't do nothing. Say something, she said. They didn't do anything. And they didn't say nothing. That's the bad thing about if you not gonna do nothing. Open your damn mouth and say something. And that's a lot wrong with our people right now. They don't even want to say nothing. And now people are also waking up to Diddy's treatment of Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber is reportedly disgusted by the allegations against Diddy, who played a mentor role in his early music career. According to a source close to Bieber, speaking to US Weekly, the new father has been advised to stay as far away as possible from anything and everything related to Diddy. However, it seems that keeping his distance hasn't been difficult for Bieber. The source shared that Justin wants nothing to do with the music mogul at this point. Another insider mentioned that Justin is currently in a hard place mentally as he grapples with the serious accusations against Diddy. He has such a history with Diddy, and the allegations against him have been hard to process. The source said, the situation has also raised questions about why Bieber's handlers allowed Diddy to mentor him when he was a child. Sources close to Bieber told the Daily Mail that he should never have been allowed to party with Diddy or anyone else when he was a teen. Happy day. Welcome to the family, J. Music. Applause. These sources claim that Bieber was thrown to the wolves by his mother Patty Mallet and his largely absent father, Jeremy Bieber. They also point to Usher, whose label Bieber was signed to as bearing some responsibility in one widely discussed incident from November 2009. A 15-year-old Bieber spent a notorious 48-hour period with Diddy
at the rapper's home, reportedly UN. Slow down. Let's down Justin, slow down. One step at a time, but yeah, the keys is yours when you get 16, you good to go. I'm good.
Together. Yeah. And then when you get 18, you get the house, you get the mansion. Okay. The high on. So where are we off now? Where would you like to go? I mean, wherever you want to go. Where we just so check this out. Yeah. Justin, he's in, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours right now? He's having with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives. Like, where are we hanging out and what we doing? We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed the Usher. I'm signed Usher. Another resurfaced video clip of Diddy and Bieber has sparked debate among fans, with some questioning whether Diddy was checking to see if Bieber was wearing a wire during their conversation. Another video shows Diddy asking Bieber why they no longer hang out. What's up, man? You good? I'm good. How are you, young brother? Everything's good. Selling out. Arenas and everything starting to act different. Huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out. Well, you haven't. You try to get in contact with me, through all my, partner and whatnot. But you never really got my number. So, okay, number. Yeah. My number. Yeah. Yeah. While a third captures Diddy, jokingly, warning Bieber not to reveal what happened during their time together. We become friends in a strange way. Robin Big. Yeah. Yeah. It's like exactly. I'm begging it, Rob. Yeah, no, he's to a lot of us, he's like a little brother, I'm saying. He's not afraid to call and ask for advice. He's somebody that, in the industry-wise, the record industry, is a strong family. And he's somebody that, we definitely have our arms around. We want to protect him because he's such genuinely a nice person. Besides his talent, you know what I'm saying? He's one of the greatest kids that you could ever know. Just did he be his son of Bentley? Maybe, he could buy you one also while he got me a Lamborghini. Nice. I haven't gotten it yet, though. Yeah. When is that coming? That Lamborghini. We talked about this last time. He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better
Present,
than
and no
be
longer
talking
has a
about
voice who will
the
pursue
things that he
justice for
does
her
with Big Brother
accusation.
Puff on
As of the
national
taken
television.
against Diddy,
Something
no
everything ain't
expansion
for
of the
everybody.
investigation, no
fact,
isolation orders,
Many have
no
claimed
equipment
that Diddy
access,
probably
no
didn't
suspension
stop
of
it
attorney
just having
communication.
Justin to
Never
himself.
spoke. No
He
one
could have
mentions
pimped
the
him out
note,
to Hollywood
but
too.
everyone knows it appeared.
And when you consider
and
how
if what
Hollywood
it says
used
is
to
true,
sexually
then punishment.
assault him
Part 3.
as a
The
child,
person no longer in
the
the
theory
system.
is not
The
that
internal
far-fetched.
personnel database of the
Applause.
Atlanta
Wow.
Federal Detention Center
I feel
updated its
violated
weekly
right now.
roster. Under the
Wow.
category Special
Lean into me
Personnel
again.
Code Adjustment,
You smell amazing.
the name
How old
of
are
Warden
you?
TD was marked as removed
Thank
from
you. How old
system
are
by
you?
administrative order.
I'm 16.
There was no decision
I'll be
number
17
recorded,
in like
but
2
was
weeks.
deactivated.
I don't ever
Her personal
remember smelling
contact
that good at
information
16.
disappeared from the
I
internal
was that
network.
was bad.
Exactly personnel
Wow.
removal at that
Look at
tier,
your eyes.
the head of Federal
In
Human Resources
what music you listen,
and
would you rather
Detention
we have
Center.
to make it on stage during
No
one full
confirmation
song?
exists.
One full
Application
song.
was made.
Or drink
The
a cup of
removal of
blended
Warden
ones?
TD's name
Answer,
was not accompanied
Justin
by
Bieber.
any or protective
like,
reassignment.
Little girl fans.
At
I-
11:20
my
a.m.,
parents
a
never gave
printed
me the
copy
sex
of the
talk.
personnel deployment
Okay,
chart was
so
generated in
why don't you
preparation
give me
for
the
the new
sex
week's
talk?
schedule.
I
Under the
really-
section marked
feel
Internal
uncomfortable
Alert,
right now.
TD's name
Why do you want to know the sex talk from a 15-year-old boy? That's pretty weird. Let's talk about the album. And Justin Bieber and Usher are not the only two to have been groomed by Diddy growing up. Freddie P claims Diddy did it to his own child. Is more deeper questions that I'd be wanting to know, like, why were you so infatuated with a child that wasn't yours? Were you grooming that little boy? I don't even want to start those conversations, because that's not your child. You know what I'm saying? And for you to keep him that close, it's like you kept him that close, because he might got your secrets, because he's not your child. So if he not your child, and you, that type of person, with that type of character, you don't mind actually doing it to him when he finally reaches a certain age, because he's not yours. And in your mind, he not yours. And now you keep him real close to you. You make sure he don't go to his daddy. Why? You make sure he's separated. You provide him with everything he want. Why? You got one of them little Michael Jackson secrets. He got one of them secrets that he can't tell nobody.
When the first images from the
Because his
federal raid
legacy,
on Diddy's $40 million Los Angeles
his manhood
estate
gonna
were released,
be,
no one expected
and not
this.
only that,
Neatly
his
stacked
brother
in display
no,
cabinets like prized
gonna look
possessions
at him
were
crazy.
200 bottles of baby
Only
oil.
Puffy no,
Right next
only
to
God
them,
talk about
over
him.
900 bottles
Right?
of lubricant.
I don't
Rows
know,
and
all I'm
rows.
going to say
It
is
looked
I don't
less
know.
like a home and more like
I'll
a
be short,
warehouse
all I'm
for
going to
something
say is
far more
who's
disturbing.
infatuated with
These
another
weren't the
man's
kind of
son.
items most people
That,
keep
like,
in bulk,
that,
but for investigators, it painted a chilling
that
picture.
seemed
Why would one of
like
the most
grooming to
powerful
me.
men in hip-hop need
I
this
got,
much? And more
oh, that's his
importantly,
daughter's
what
brothers.
exactly were they used for?
Get the Diddy, and I don't say that just because he groomed his own child. It seems that Diddy also sees his own mom in a sexual light. A video of Diddy kissing his mother on the lips has recently resurfaced following his federal arrest on sexting charges in the clip, which dates back to smoking what appears to be marijuana before introducing his mother, Janice, as Mom Dukes. He goes on to describe her as sing and ready to mingle. After the kiss, Diddy boasts about taking his 83-year-old mother to strip clubs, and even jokes about how a dating show centered around her might play out. Yeah, my mom's gorgeous. Hold on. Let me introduce it out to my mom. Call Mom Dukes. Hi. She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up? Everything's good, baby. I'm here with you. Yeah, I love you. I love you. Music too. Freshly dipped. Music though, I was trying to show you shoes. Music. My mom's a single, moms are single. I ain't gonna hate on my moms. She's single me. And my mom talked about one time doing a dating show with her. She's so picky. She's so picky. They don't stand, but yeah, that'll be the funniest show in the world. It will be. Especially with me. I don't even want to get she was doing that. We not doing that. 'Cause yeah, my mom's single. Yeah, for real. Mom Duke know how to have a good time. She ain't sitting in the house playing outside, moving and shaking, baby. She come with me to strip club. I don't care. Real. It's my dog. I want to live life. We out here, moving and grooving. My mom told me. She just said, keep moving, baby. That's right. Keep moving, she don't stop. She could touch. The floor with her. The video was recorded a little over a year before allegations of sexual abuse and other misconduct against Diddy first emerged. And I'll have you know that this isn't just some random theory without merit. Even Gandil claims Diddy treats his mom like his girl. Fall far from the tree, man. You gotta realize that, he didn't get all this from his daddy, 'cause he didn't know his daddy, even though they tried to say his daddy was some big-time drug dealer in the whole 9 yards. You understand? He didn't get this from his daddy. You gotta realize, man, his mother had a modeling agency, and it was alleged that it was also, ladies of the night Asian ring too, or these ladies was doing things other than modeling, so the apple don't fall from the tree. Yeah. So now you gotta understand this. And looking at her and some of the stuff that he was saying, and their relationship has changed since I knew them. since I was around them. You understand this? Man was talking about that his mother could take her palms and bend over and put them down on the floor. Not bend over, but she could. She could stand straight up and put her palms on the floor, bro. He's saying that about his mother, who describes any of their mother actions like that in a sexual way. And then, I don't know how many dudes do kiss their mother in their mouth when they're 56 years old or something like that. That's them, that's their whole thing, man. But that was a little kind of weird for me. And then his mother wore the same white fingernail polish that Cash described that he liked to see her and other models in when she was describing her lawsuit. And what's crazy to me is that, man, it seemed like him and his mother had this, I don't want to get too deep, man, this AD complex thing. You know what I mean? And a lot of people going to say, yo, Oedip is complex. Well, let me just tell you a brief story. So Oedip it may have been Greek mythology, or it's probably Greek mythology or something like that. But it's a story about a young man that was told that he was going to kill his father and marry his mother. So on the way this young man had grown up, he didn't know that he was an orphan and then was adopted by a family. He thought the family he was with was his mother and father, but it wasn't. So on the way to this town, he gets into an argument with this other man, and he kills him. He kills that man. Then he goes into that town. A lady is weeping about her husband being told that her husband was dead, and he ended up marrying that lady, which was his mother. So Sigmund Freud came up this thing about this Oedipus complex, about a sexual relationship, whether it's physical
and
or
no
mental,
longer
with a
has a
mother and
voice
son.
who will pursue
So
justice
I'm
for
looking
her
at his mother
accusation.
and him
As
on
of
the
the
couch,
taken against Diddy,
and both
no
of them are
expansion of the
getting IVs
investigation,
after one of the
no
Diddy
isolation
parties.
orders, no
Allegedly,
equipment
I'm going to
access,
say allegedly,
no
'cause I
suspension of
wasn't
attorney
there,
communication,
and I didn't
ever
know,
spoke.
but they
No
showed
one
them
mentions
both
the
getting
note,
IVs on
but
the
everyone
couch.
knows it appeared.
So my whole thing
And if
about
what it
this thing
says
is
is
that
true, then
I'm not
punishment.
saying that she
Part
was ever
3,
at a freak
the
off.
person no longer in the
She was
system.
ever at
The
that
internal
type of
personnel
party.
database of the
But
Atlanta
you can't
Federal
tell me
Detention Center
Miss
updated
Jen
its weekly
Holmes,
roster.
who
Under
was
the
always at the
category
regular
Special
parties,
Personnel Code Adjustment,
didn't know
the name of Warden
nothing about the
TD was
freak-off
marked as
parties.
removed from system by
This is the
administrative
same dude,
order. There was no
bro, that
decision
H
number
used to
recorded.
disrespect
It
his
was
mother.
deactivated.
So I
Her
seen
personal contact information
love now that
disappeared from the internal
they had
network
for each
exactly
other,
30 removal at
only on
that tier,
film
the head of
and
Federal
camera,
Human Resources
on
and Detention Center.
on the YouTube or
No
Instagram
confirmation
or wherever they was
exists.
showing and
Application was
stuff
made.
like that.
The removal
But
of Warden TD's
the
name was
same
not
guy that
accompanied
Kirk
by
Burrs
any or
once
protective
told me
reassignment.
he slapped
At
his mother, and I
11:20
told
a.m., a
everybody
printed
had
copy of the personnel
I known he
deployment
slapped
chart
his
was
mother after I
generated in
told Kirk
preparation
Reed.
for the new week's
Kirk
schedule.
told me after
Under
I
the
straightened
section
his
marked
ass off
Internal
for cussing
Alert,
his mama
TD's
out.
name.
His mother came in the limousine, and he was on the phone, and she said, yo, why don't you tell these people like that? He just cussed her cleaned out, like on some didn't. I tell you to stay out my business. And I was like, yo, I was shocked she didn't say nothing. I said to him, I said, yo, boy, let me tell you something. If you ever cuss your mama again, I'ma beat the calma out. You ain't going to bring nothing but bad luck to us treating your mama like that. So I guess he ain't treating his mama like that no more, but I don't have no qualms in her defending her son. In fact, this saga goes so deep because Gandil originally claimed that Diddy fired him because his mom was making moves on him. Did you see the EIG live that Puffy and his mom did? And Puffy, he was shouting out Mason, showing him love for, him being a part of the No Way Out album. And, his mom, she could put it in and, I guess she didn't want him shouting out
will
Mace.
leave you speechless.
and
When
she
the
made a
first images from
comment
the federal raid on
telling
Diddy's
Mace
$40
stopped
million
meeting with
Los
her son
Angeles
or
estate were
whatever. I
released,
guess
no one
mama
expected
wasn't
this.
feeling
Neatly stacked in display
Mace, and
cabinets
Mace
like
is a
prized
celebrity.
possessions were 200
And by
bottles of
him
baby
having a
oil.
platform
Right
to
next
say
to them,
something about
over
her son,
900 bottles of lubricant.
you know,
rows and rows.
she would say
It
that
looked
you
less like a
understand.
home and more like a
I
warehouse
don't
for
have,
something far more disturbing.
I've said more
These
about
weren't the kind of
Mace.
items most people
I've
keep in
said
bulk,
more about
but for
Diddy than
investigators, it painted a chilling
have,
picture.
but maybe because
Why would one of
I'm
the
not a
most powerful men
celebrity,
in
I don't
hip-hop
have
need
the
this
platform.
much? And more
And
importantly,
he didn't
what
say my
exactly were they
name.
used for?
She didn't say anything about, and you too, Jean deal. And maybe because she might still find me sexy. She say she looking. What you mean by that? His mom was trying to talk to you back then. I don't want to, that's how we fell out, bro, that's how we fell out. You don't know? I thought you watched the Gene Deal show. Art, no man. Tell me about that. I didn't know that. Oh my god, yo, one day, Puff and Justin was in the office, right? And sometime gotta watch Justin. But since grandma up there, you know, she watching Jocelyn, I still got to keep my eye on Puff, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know who security going to let up sometimes. And this, that, and the third. So it used to like she used to have a restaurant. And she used to bring food up to the offers and give it to people, right? So this one particular time, you know, she used to always like do IND windows. To me, Jean. Why you don't never? What a call, Jean. Why you don't never, Jean? Why you don't like that? But I never even, paid her any attention. Because it's all in a skull it. You know, mama comes. You know, Janus. It's Miss comes. You understand? I gave her that respect. But she used to always throw in the windows. And when somebody finds you somewhat attractive. And then, because I used to get in Puff ass cause Puff used to be disrespectful around his mother, understand? I'm glad they got a better relationship and they got a better understanding. Cause I said it before you say, when he cursed out, we was getting in the limousine. This when the office was on 19th Street and 5th Avenue. He said, didn't I tell you to stay out my mother business? He was talking to his mother. And I said, boy, let me tell you something. If I ever hear you cuss your mother again, I'ma beat the Talma out you ain't going bring nothing to bad luck to us. What did you ever cuss your mother again? Like what is even going on here? How was all of this happening in plain sight without anyone figuring out what was going on? Gee, but I told her stay out my bit, you wouldn't have no business. If it wasn't for her. I'm not playing with you, man. Now you need to apologize to her. She slammed the door. Cause she was going get a lemure more with us at this time. She just left and went the other way. Now we was in the office. One time, Justin, she brought some food up and she like, Jean, I need you to go downstairs and get this food out the truck or the van or whatever she had on. Now and I need to get out. I said, and all these people's in the office. It's 1,000 interns that could have did that. But I know she wanted to show that she had power over me. And I would never give her no power over me. You understand? Cause she used to always ask me to do. I wasn't feeling that. So now I'm sitting there. Like no, I'm not doing that. I'm not here for that. So she got all messed riled up. Everybody do what I tell him to do. Except you. Who do you think you are? Something like that. I said, I'm here for Puff. Anything happened to him while I go down there? Your food. It's a situation. Puff overheard the thing. And Puff came out and said, yo, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. Why you always messing with Jean? Leave Jean alone. This came out of his own mouth in his office. And there people who was there, who witnessed this, start getting this other dude. From my block. Around our block. Named Stretch. 'cause he was NYPD, to take my days. And I just said to myself, man, I ain't with that no more. And that's how we fell out. That's how it ended. That's how it ended. So she was trying to get at you on the low, was trying to come on to you. That's why she kept messing with you. But she wasn't going for it. You wasn't checking for it like that. You wasn't interested, not at all, no. I was going knock the dust off that, bro. Not me. You didn't find her attractive. No, not at all. So yeah, the whole family is kind of messed up, and that's without even talking about the lawsuits his sons have been hit by. So how do you think things will turn out for Diddy? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.